Attempts to erase the science at UN climate talks. Oil-producing countries are trying to erase the science on keeping the world's temperatures below 1.5 C, say some delegates at UN talks in Bonn.
Here's a summary of the article.
Kiara Worth, IISD, ENB. Oil-producing countries are trying to erase the science on keeping the world's temperatures below 1.5 C, say some delegates at UN talks in Bonn. The chair of the Alliance of Small Island States said Saudi Arabia and others were trying to pretend a key scientific report didn't exist. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report on 1.5 C was commissioned by the UN back in 2015. The simmering battle over the report has re-emerged here at this meeting in Bonn. Saudi Arabia has been at the fore in wanting to include text that underlined the uncertainties in the report. The report has had a transformational effect, not just with the UK now passing a net zero law, but with public opinion around the world, said Alden Mayer, from the Union of Concerned Scientists. But there is a fault line between a handful of countries, most of them major oil producers, on the significance and status of the report. But they can't put the stopper back in the bottle and pretend the report doesn't exist.
This post received a score of 39,170, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
They've been trying to erase the science for 50-plus years. Even in 1980, Exxon and other oil corps assumed temp changes would be exponential. Look at how quickly they reported we'd go from a barely noticeable +1 C to an absolutely catastrophic +5 C. But what do oil corps tell you nowadays? Eat less strawberries and we can keep burning oil until the universe ends. Fuck off all the way to The Hague, you planet-killing greed monsters.
Remember when big oil companies poisoned Americans for decades with lead in the last century? Well, it's gonna be the same thing with climate change.
If you live near an airport, you're still getting sprayed with lead.
That's not due to the oil companies wanting it that way though, heck, they would prefer not to have to bother selling avgas. It's a problem of scale, change, cost, slow regulation, etc. It's not exactly fun to handle 100LL either. Although it is low lead and less than car fuel was, and in order of magnitude lower use than auto fuel.
To my understanding, the lead is in 100LL because it is really hard to get to a 100 octane without it, the same being true for the lower grades cars use in the past.
Unleaded 100+ octane fuel is pricey compared to regular gasoline, but it's very much doable. The highest I've seen for sale that was street legal was 118.
Race gas usually uses methanol to accomplish that, but the problem with alcohols and avgas is that having moisture absorbed in the fuel is dangerous. Edit, Dierp.
Some does, but not all. Rocket's 110 octane is one I can think of off the top of my head with 0% alcohol content, and if there's one, there'll be more.
I can't find unleaded 110 Rocket products.
Derp. I'm sorry, I've been awake for damned near 24 hours now and put in a 12 shift in a 40-degree factory. You are correct.
When it was presented to climate negotiators in December in Poland, 4 countries including the US, Saudi Arabia, Russia and Kuwait refused to welcome it. When you're included in a list with the countries listed above, you know you're the bad guy.
For the Americans out there, the consensus among scientists and economists on to mitigate climate change is similar to that human activity is responsible for global warming. Vote people who prioritize climate change and the environment, and many Americans don't realize we should be voting. On average, in 2018 in the US, the percentage of voters prioritizing the environment and now for lawmakers. The U.S., according to most of the $5.2 trillion in subsidies for fossil fuels come from not taxing carbon as we should. There is general agreement among economists on carbon taxes whether you consider or it is literally Econ 101.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.